Welcome back to Art Class Demos. Today's video is going to be on the last of our three-dimensional forms, the sphere. We're going to be using a tennis ball as a prop, so let's get right into it. One of the hardest things to do to begin the sphere is to get the circle drawn, because a sphere is just a three-dimensional circle. Remember, a circle is a shape. A sphere is a form. So we want to use our shoulder more. We want to hold the pencil sideways so we're not trying to use the point too much. If you use this sideways, you can brace your hand with your fingers and get a little resistance. Take a couple little practice swings, and then wherever you start dropping the pencil down, whatever you end up with, it's okay. Just see what needs to be modified with it. But the whole time stay nice and light. That way I can always fix my mistakes, because I'm going to make mistakes. It's one of the guarantees about being human. Get this to round out. This is where I am using my wrist a little bit more, just for these small movements. A little bit more detailed and controlled. Okay. We got a good start. The next thing I really need to do is hit the shadow, that cast shadow. I can see one of the things we can use as a landmark. You know, where does it interact with the side of that ball? It's going to interact kind of towards the middle. And all right, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna use. No, it doesn't come out that far. It's kind of shifted a little bit that way, not a ton, but. You know, and again, like I've said before, this thing is just it's the same thing as the object. It's just distorted, kind of flipped on its side a little bit. Okay. If you look at the inside of that circle, the ball. Look at the ball itself, the sphere. It's going to have some distinct areas to look at. It's going to have a little highlight right here. I'm just going to take and where the light's hitting the ball the strongest, indicate just lightly where a highlight's gonna be. It's gonna have this other little ring. It's gonna kind of come around as that sphere changes direction away from the light. It's gonna kind of ring this way and then this way as well, because some of the light's bouncing up, reflecting back. Then I'm gonna have a really strong area of shadow right on the side of the ball there, opposite of the highlight. That highlight's probably a little bit in the wrong spot. Let's bring it back over this way a little bit. But this darkest area is called the core shadow. It's opposite of our highlight, okay? So sometimes it's easy to start with that. I'm actually gonna start by trying to push this stuff all the way to the edge and stop cleanly and clearly. Okay, and bring it around the back a little bit too, and then fuzz it in between values. That's where the fuzzy blended transitions happen. Okay, so I've got a good start right now. I'm trying to establish a highlight here and a little bit darker shadow around the underside of the ball, around the back side of it. Try to stay light in my value changes. Just using an HB pencil here. Realize that this tennis ball is kind of weird to draw because it's so fuzzy that it's not real reflective. So our value changes are very gentle. On this one right here, where the highlight is, still not real bright. It is compared to the other parts of the ball, but it's not like it's pure white. Just kind of dab that a little bit, lighten that up, because it needs to be brighter than this reflective area down here. I'm gonna try to get this a little bit more. So at this stage, I've got a pretty well defined highlight and pretty decent reflected light down here. Again, reflected light is just the light has bounced off of something. So it's not as bright as the highlight, but it's brighter than your kind of mid-tone area. I'm gonna take and gently, with a soft edge, move this area kind of in through here. Can you see that on the tennis ball? That area needs to go darker. It's important to keep your pencil sharp. You can't do a good job with any job with poor quality tools. Your pencil is just one of your basic tools. But I'm taking that value right out to the edge. Nice clean break. Exaggerate that just a little bit in the dark areas. Really push the values, especially in something as boring as just a plain tennis ball. Push this underside just a little bit darker. It'll blend really smoothly between value changes. Something we'll talk about later is value shapes. I'm gonna lighten that just slightly. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, there we go. Okay, we have our value structure pretty well defined here. Highlight, mid-tone, reflected light, core shadow. I'm not gonna hit this bottom, the cast shadow underneath. That's what's gonna ground it onto the surface of the table. Otherwise, we have no idea where this thing is. It could be floating in the sky. It could be bouncing off the ground. We don't know. So I'm gonna hit that bottom shadow and I'll be back in a minute. At this point, I've got a pretty good general shape of the shadow, the cast shadow, but I need to push it darker underneath and on the sides. So I have some value changes and it's gonna really come alive. That cast shadow is very dark underneath the ball, but then it quickly kind of fades out, fuzzes out as it comes around here. I'm gonna keep working on it. Okay, we're getting a little closer. Kind of try to push that general shape of the shadow, or the general value of the shadow, the cast shadow a little darker, and underneath the ball darker. That's gonna need to go even darker still, because right now it's about the same value as that core shadow on the ball. It needs to be even darker. All right, I think I'm pretty well done with it. Let me try to, let's put a little bit more darkness kind of out in this area. Just blend that out a little bit more. I'm really trying to keep my edge distinction. See the dark, light, light, dark. And blend that a little bit more. And let's see, let's hit that a little bit with my, let's just use a 2H. See if I can just kind of fill that little spot in there. That a little lumpy, just left a fingerprint. There we go. That's going to do it for today's demo on drawing the sphere. As always, I hope you found something useful you can apply right now. Our next video is going to be on finding edges, soft and hard, something we've already been talking about a little bit, but we'll talk a little bit more in depth in it. Have a great day. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.